Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here. It's nice to have a well-rested bonus. I have been away for a bit. Rumours of my death have been greatly exaggerated though, so sorry if you missed me, but I'm sure you've coped just fine. Anyway, it's time for your regular check-up with the world of Rust development, so make yourself comfortable, and this won't take a jiffy. There are a few changes coming at you very soon, and I know how much you chaps love change. Or is that subject to change? I hope not, or I'll have to stop doing these altogether. Well, whatever. First up, over on the staging orcs branch right now, there's a new improved furnace UI being cobbled together. I say furnace, but it also applies to anything you put wood in and set on fire. The lowdown is that they're all now only going to accept one stack of fuel, and depending on the device, there will be different amounts of raw and cooked slots available. Campfires, basic furnaces and small refineries will now have one material input slot, a byproduct slot, charcoal basically, and an end product slot. But barbecues and large furnaces will have 3 extra input and output slots. You'll also be able to loot everything quickly from them with new buttons on the UI. One thing that I'm sure you'll be overjoyed to know is that with this change, you'll only be able to smelt one type of ore at a time, and that on the large furnace, even though you can put in 4 stacks of metal ore, it won't speed things up. It just means you don't have to fill it up so often. Of course, this will be subject to change, depending on feedback received. But if I know you lot, this is exactly the sort of change you're all gagging for, so there won't be any complaints. Something else that's changing soon is caves, and instead of a bunch of fixed layouts spawning, they're going procedural. This is all in a separate branch right now, and there's not much to show apart from this image of an entrance, but expect them to be more like the underwater labs when it hits, with a bunch of different tunnels and rooms that will spawn in procedurally generated configurations and add that much needed variety to your subterranean lives. There's a new marketplace model on the way, because after all this one was just a placeholder, albeit one of the more convincing ones. No change in function as far as I can tell, but it will have a nice awning to stand under with some very subtle branding that can be seen from space. You may have encountered some crashes since the update at the beginning of this month. Most unusual, I know, but thanks to a few hotfixes from the team over the last week, these should hopefully be a thing of the past. Exercise time, go! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, The big Trainyard update trundles ever closer. In fact, I believe the aim's to make it publicly testable sometime next week. Hope to bring you the lowdown on that when it hits, so stay tuned. In a nutshell, in case you missed it, this set of changes will reconfigure the Trainyard, adding a new ore processing building and linking it up to the rail network, so you can drive wagons into it and take part in an event, which I don't have a lot of details about, apart from that it involves ore and a big vacuum thingy. Exciting times. You should also expect to be able to check out the new monument light switches and locomotive lights, which apart from switch on and offable headlights, will also include lights to indicate if a train's travelling towards you, away from you, or just stationary. In other works in progress, there are a few new convars being implemented for admins, and I'll list them in the description, but there's also one coming that will allow you to bind a key to toggle ADS. This will only apply when holding a gun or melee weapon that can be thrown. Right-click interactions on other held entities, for instance the torch, should be unaffected, and ADS will be toggled off when switching between weapons or when a reload takes place. The command will imaginatively be called input.toggle ADS, or is that toggle ads? Would be useful on YouTube. Happy's Island continues to be spat on and polished, with all those wrinkles gradually being ironed out, and it appears that early work is taking place on Molotovs, which you can see some models for here, and which should be very useful for remotely barbecuing things. Very much a work in progress at the moment, and no idea of when they'll be in, etc, etc, but please let me know your thoughts down below. Oh yes, and also, if you like things with big heads and little bodies, personally I don't, but there's some new Rust merch in town. Marvellous. Right, I've got an appointment with a sun lounger and several drinkies, so you will excuse me, but if you want more, then please sub to the channel, leave a like, follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. Links are all below. Support me on Patreon with a YouTube membership, or buy something in the merch store, and I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. This video is powered by AWDIT's producer range of workstation PCs, available now at awdit.co.uk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,